Well, that was weird. Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. I am Ranting Monkey. This is Monkey in the Morning. Actually, in my morning. Um, it's weird. There's light outside, and it doesn't feel right. It doesn't feel right to be doing this at this time. But I hope you guys are well. I'm had a good day yesterday. Hope you guys did too. Hope you enjoyed your 4th of July. Um, I had an okay day. Just I did too much for already being as worn out as I was, which means I will hopefully sleep eventually. But until then, we are going to sit here and we're going to talk about, well, at least for a good portion of the show, legal matters. I guess I should get it out of the way at the beginning. I am not a lawyer or a judge. Get all of your opinions from one of those guys who gets overpaid for that shit. Just kidding. You guys get paid just enough for screwing people over constantly. Good morning, Nuts. How are you? I'm sorry. I'm mean to lawyers, but yeah, fuck them. We're going to talk about a lot of legal stuff. I don't know what else we'll get into, but I didn't even mean this. I didn't plan this. It's not like I've been saving this up. Just I have a bunch of this nonsense all at once hitting me. So I thought, you know what? Let's do a Judge Monkey show. I need to get an actual avatar of me as a judge. And we'll go over some legal ease. Some of it is going to be wordy. I think it's the right word. We're going to go over a case that just came out. It's like 155 pages, I think is how long it is. That's about an injunction against the Biden administration and other officials in our government and their backhanded bullshit that they were pulling with social media. Justice Monkey sounds better. I hear you, but I like Judge Monkey because I do judge people constantly. Are we going to discuss tortious interference? Not today, understatement, not today. Instead, let's kick off with that idiot out there in Arizona, shall we? Did you guys see the story about the Arizona Attorney General who says the Supreme Court can go fuck themselves? I'm paraphrasing what she said, but it's basically what she said. So this rather unpleasant looking chick out there in Arizona didn't like the decision the other day. Lupus, thank you so much. Good morning and long time no see. Good morning to you as well. Hope you're well. She doesn't this what's her name? Chris Mayers. She does not like the Supreme Court decision on the this is going to come up again too. But the website designer and them not being able to force the website designer to make a website that they disagree with. So this is from an opinion piece from E.J. Montini from the Arizona Republic. Arizona Attorney General Chris Mayers tells the U.S. Supreme Court to shove it. Now, this is I'm just going to let you guys know right now. It's a little bit of a bias piece. They're a little bit biased in their reporting here. Yeah. Colorado has a law in the books that says, in simple terms, a business open to the public can't discriminate against gay people. Well, I mean, that's pretty much a law everywhere. I mean, several places have started adding the gender expression to those laws. But this is what we talked about with like the cake, right? That baker couldn't say, hey, you can't buy one of my cakes, but he was allowed to say, hey, I am not specifically making a cake for your gay wedding. No, that's, you can buy any of the already made, throw rainbow flag on it and call it a gay wedding cake, but I'm not going to use my talents to do that for you. And people are having a problem with that. And I always come back to this example. What if there's a white baker and a black man comes in and wants him to make a cake that says fuck whitey or kill whitey? How about kill whitey? And there's a reason I do it that way. You can do it with the with Muslims or any group. Yeah, what about a female baker and you go in there and you're like, hey, I want you to make me a cake that says women shouldn't have the right to vote. Donald Camp, thanks so much for that feminist $12. Before you get ranting, my niece turned 18 yesterday in Army boot camp. Her name is Alex, and I would love a song for her. Well, Donald, this is for Alex. And a 1 and a 2. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear Alex. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, Alex. I hope you have a good one. Try to enjoy boot camp as best you can. All right, so back to this. You can't tell them, hey, you can't come in my business. I'm not going to sell you. You can't say I'm not going to do something specifically using talents that are that baker, for instance. He has just an amazing artistic ability. And I'm not talking like Cake Boss. We're like, look at these great cakes that he makes. And instead, it's all that fondue shit or whatever it's called. And like, there's a little tiny bit of cake, and the rest of it is like Rice Krispie treats that they colored. No, this guy actually makes very beautiful cakes. There's a difference between saying you can't buy anything in this store, and I'm not going to make that specifically for you because I disagree with it. And it's what so many people are having trouble with, because that's not even what the law says, that you can just discriminate randomly. It's not. Madam Minister, thanks so much for that feminist $12. All I kept seeing on Twitter was how reestablishing our right to freedom of association was fascist and extreme, but forcing people to associate with their preferred political movement is freedom. I'm gonna be honest with you, I haven't been on Twitter much recently, the last few days, and it hasn't changed. I came back today. Let's see, I was called a transphobe and a racist within like 10 minutes of being on there. We'll get to those later, probably. Anyhow, so back to our story here. The radical right-wing majority of the U.S. Supreme Court, the radical right-wing majority, issued a ruling last week saying, yes, it can. The court took the side of a web designer in Colorado who said it was her First Amendment right to refuse to design wedding websites for same-sex couples. Yeah, because it is. It is. Arizona has a law much like Colorado's. Arizona Attorney General Chris Mayers announced in no uncertain terms that her office is determined to enforce it. The Supreme Court be damned. After the court announced its decision in the Colorado case, Myers issued a statement that read, in part, I need a good voice for this. Today, a woefully misguided majority of the United States Supreme Court has decided that businesses open to the public may, in certain circumstances, discriminate against LGBTQ plus Americans. Well, it's not just them. This would be the same for any other group take any group, okay? Any group. And you put them in this situation, right? You have to make a website. You have a website business and you're a Muslim. And the person who wants you to make the website, they want you to make a website for them that says Muhammad was a child molester and all Muslims blow shit up when they get mad. Should they have to do it? Now, see, they never answer that because we're just at the LGB. And this is where the whole LGBT thing is, I'm fucking over it. I really am. Sorry, gay folks. I'm so tired of you guys being just the most sensitive fucking people that have to have the most sensitive laws based just for you. But somebody said mean words. They misgendered me. Fuck you. I don't care. You don't get to be the one special group that everybody has to cater to at all times. Fuck you. And to politicians who are sucking up like this, fuck you too. While my office is still reviewing the decision to determine its effects, I agree with Justice Sotomayor. The idea that the Constitution gives businesses the right to discriminate is profoundly wrong. It's actually perfectly in line with the Constitution. It absolutely is. Frosted Glass, thank you so much. I'm not going to read that out loud. I see what you did there. But yeah, I'm not going to read that one out loud. I appreciate it, my friend. But yeah. Monk, didn't your state just pass a hate speech law? We're going to deal with that later, but yes, they did. It's not LGBT people, it's LGBT by Bezos. I don't know what that is. Honestly, I find this shit insufferable. Look, it is the activist. And typically I make that distinction. So please understand, yeah, I'm talking about the activist bullshit. Because as we've mentioned many, many times, most gay people just want to live their life. It's this activist bullshit of look at me, make me special. Go fuck yourself. However you want to do it, a plunger, a 9-inch dildo, I don't care, but go fuck yourself. But I love this. Did you catch what she did here? My office is still reviewing the decision to determine its effects. But we're not going to abide by it. What? Wait, what? How are you both determining its effects and saying you're not going to abide by it, ma'am? Mayers is referring to the dissenting opinion of Justice Sonia Sotomayor, who wrote in part, remember, that is our Hispanic heritage justice, who is smarter than white men. Today, the court, for the first time in its history, grants a business open to the public a constitutional right to refuse to serve members of a protected class. All right. We shouldn't have protected classes. Sorry. We really shouldn't. But if you're going to have them, there are still going to be exceptions for the things that you can force them to do. Am I the only one that hates that term? Protected class. Race, religion, ethnicity, gender identity, who you're plugging. How many special classes do we need? How about, I mean, the truth of it is, everybody should be protected. There shouldn't be special classes. Everybody should be protected. How are we in 2023 and I'm having to tell the fucking AG of Arizona that everybody should enjoy legal protection? No, we have to have special ones because sometimes the gay people, they feel like that people are being mean to them online. So we have to have special things for them. Fuck off. None of that shit should be, there shouldn't be protected class. Everybody should be protected. She added, by issuing this new license to discriminate, it's not new. The court cases have been coming down, have been going along this lines. Again, the Baker case is probably one of the most famous. Coming down along these lines. We saw it in the Hobby Lobby case. We've seen it in, I know there's others, but your rights don't get to trample other people's rights. Your rights end where mine begin, just like mine end where yours begin. That's how it works. I don't get to trample on you, and you don't get to do it to me either. So fuck off. Anyway, sorry. By issuing this new license to discriminate, the immediate symbolic effect of this decision is to mark gays and lesbians for second-class status. Ooh. The symbolic effect. The symbolic effect. Ain't that a bitch? This is a accomplished lawyer, presumably, who got elected to the Attorney General's office there in Arizona, representing the legal interest of Arizona itself. And the bitch is talking about symbolic effects. The astrological effect, right, man? It might as fucking well be. I had some tea this morning, and when I looked in the cup, the tea leaves, they kind of made a dog. And symbolically, that was the universe calling me a bitch, and now I need to sue. Fuck you means, and never mind. Not in Arizona, according to mayors. She said in a statement today, despite today's ruling, Arizona Arizona law prohibits discrimination in places of public accommodation. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. How is a website business a place of public accommodation? It's not a restaurant, twat. It's never mind. Including discrimination because of sexual orientation or gender identity. All right. You know, sweetie, by all means, go ahead and do this. You're just going to get sued over it and get this established more into law. Actually, what'll probably happen is it'll get shot down by the courts because what you're doing is what aren't you the people of Roe v. Wade? Hey, you can't do that because they said you can suck babies out. How come they're only like that with laws they like? How come it's only shit that they don't like that suddenly the court is the worst thing ever, 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 ever? They still will tell you, hey, Roe was the law of the land for almost 50 years. Yeah, I decided that. The same court that you're now like, oh my God, these fucking assholes. Sure, it's different people on there, but it's the same thing. Only in this case, it's actually something that belonged before the court. Roe should have been thrown out. Roe should have been shot. She is a diversity hire. She's a fucking retard, is what she is. But yeah, so the AG of Arizona is like, I'm not gonna follow the law. Well, good luck. I mean, it's your right as the attorney general of the state. If you find somebody, if say some lesbian couple goes shopping for a pizza place to have their wedding party, and they finally find one that's like, nah, sorry, we don't do that here. By all means, sue them. Good luck. You're gonna lose, but good luck. Go ahead. Trample there. Wait for it. Civil rights. See what happens, bitch. See, I dare you. Good luck with it. I mean that sincerely. Only because I want to read more about it because, god damn, you're an idiot. All right. So we got the Arizona governor out of the way. Not Arizona AG out of the way. Let's see. Do we want to do... no, those ones kind of... this one's kind of related. So we'll do this one next. This is from our friend Frosted Glass, who decided to send me Medium articles today. Apparently, he felt my blood pressure was too low. Karma is coming for Scotus. Another decision that they will live to regret. Sweetheart, just for the record, that sounds just a little bit threatening. Just a little. You guys are going to regret this shit. Okay, I hope you mean legally, because otherwise, that's kind of... This is from... her name's Karen White. That can't be real. That cannot be real. I'm glad it is Karen White. But Karen White is here to save the gays. Today, I would like to talk about the Supreme Court decision 303 Creative versus Alenus. It is wrong on so many levels. Oh, okay. Please be patient with me. I'm doing my best to remain calm and coherent. Fuck it. Embrace your inner monkey like I do, lady. Just let it out. Go out there and rant. Now, I would recommend still being logical and sound and right, but you don't gotta be... Look, we around here, just let it flow. First, let's talk about the plaintiff. She's a website designer who was supposedly she went through the trouble of bringing this all the way to the Supreme Court. All right. Who was supposedly concerned that Colorado's public accommodation law, which is a nice way of saying if you're going to serve the public, you'll have to serve all of the public, would force her to create wedding websites for same-sex couples. Did you get all of that from just reading the case or the headlines about it? Because that's... she explains this like it was that hard. Everybody knows what this case was if you know anything about this case being passed. Anyway, her religious beliefs force her to believe that marriage can only be between a man and a woman, but she's okay with that. If Jesus says so, it must be true. Except I don't think that Jesus ever expressed an opinion on gay marriage. I'm pretty sure he never expressed an opinion on child rape either, but pretty good guess he was against it. Again, I'm not him, so I can't say for certain. Thank you, Hofser. Hey, you got to work before I did. You were still late though. I am never late. It is physically impossible. It violates the rules, the laws of physics for me to be late to this show. But thank you for that feminist $12. Kind of fitting with this article too. But that's neither here nor there. I just got to throw in the Jesus stuff. It doesn't matter, but I got to throw it in because reasons. All right. What is important here is that she wants to be able to discriminate against gay people on the off chance that two men holding hands come flouncing into her store and demand that she create a wedding website for them or else. That was sarcasm. It wasn't. You went over the top with it. That was hyperbole. That wasn't sarcasm. Anyhow, you're a writer. What the fuck do I know? Oh, and she never designed a wedding website for anyone of any sexual orientation. Doesn't mean she won't. Just because nobody's asked her for that yet doesn't mean it's not something that happens. Wedding websites do exist, you fucking retard. And as such, it's a possibility that a customer would come. Look, all right. If it's not an issue that nobody's ever asked this chick to make one of these, then what are you so mad about? Nobody's losing anything, right? I'm not wrong with that, am I? Why are you so mad about it if it's not even a fucking issue? All right, fine. That's the plaintiff. How about the law firm representing her? That would be the Alliance Defending Freedom, which is described as rabidly anti-LGBTQ Christian legal organization. Now, is that how they describe themselves, or is that how your bitch ass does, or something like the SPLC or some other retard group? Because I doubt that's the way they describe themselves. How much do you want to bet that they had one of their interns call every single website designer in Colorado until they found one that was willing to be a party to this lawsuit, despite the fact that she doesn't, in fact, design wedding websites? That's true, Frosted. That is true. Jesus never mentioned wedding websites. Oh, this bitch. Okay. All right. Let's break this down. Even if that's true, even if they called all of the, why would you go with web designers? If you're going to do this, I mean, there's so many other things you could have done. Ones that already have precedent. You could have found, I don't know, a wedding cake designer in Colorado. But yeah, I guess website designer was the one that they went to because the other ones are already done, I guess. No, you can't do a pizza shop or a wedding cake design. I know what we'll do. I know. Call everybody who makes websites. Call Google, see if they'll make us a gay website. This is the same organization, by the way, that got Roe v. Wade overturned and is currently in litigation over the abortion pill and transgender athletes. Well, yeah, they are an activist organization. They absolutely are. But there's tons of those. You know, like the ACLU. Doesn't make them wrong in their arguments. What do you think? Is same-sex marriage up next for this group? Probably not. The 14th Amendment kicks in with same-sex marriage. So even if they got rid of, oh God, what is it called? I forget the statute or it's not even a statute. It's a legal principle made up by the Supreme Court that Justice Thomas really fucking hates that led to the reversal of Roe v. Wade. If Obergefell, however you say that word, were to be before the court again, the 14th Amendment still applies. The law in that case, you're talking about legal rep or legal recognition of your marriage by the government, not by 303 websites or whatever the fuck it was called. So, yeah. All right. You know, the justices on the Supreme Court are supposed to be very smart. Lots of Ivy League degrees sitting on that panel. You would think that someone would have noticed that they are getting a lot of similar cases from the same group and said, I think they might have an agenda. If we decide in their favor, we will suffer the blowback, not them. Ooh, 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 ooh. Oh, lady, lady, is that really how you want cases decided? Do you, do you think the forced integration of schools should have been? We're going to get blowback for this. Yeah. All right. Black Hebrew Israelite, thank you so much. The wise Latina believes that discrimination against whites and Asians is okay, but discrimination against blacks, Jews, and Latinx is just like the Nazis. It's funny how the LGBT activists don't go to the Muslim community and pull groomer shit. That's right. And it's true. It's 100% true. Thank you for the donation, my friend. I want to revisit what you just said there. You think they would have noticed that they were going to suffer the blowback? It's not about who suffers blowback, you fucking twat. This, by the way, Munchkin, if you're listening, this is not one you want the girls listening to. You fucking twat. Why in the fuck are you out here advocating? Oh, what we really need to do. The Supreme Court should be worried about public opinion. That's not what the Supreme Court's for. That's what your fucking representatives in the House are for. You can read this shit. You can see what the founders meant and what they wanted. They didn't want the Supreme Court to be at the whim of the fucking public. It's why they get life tenure. So that they don't have to worry about your bitch ass being mad that they followed the fucking law. I didn't even mean to go into a rant right there. But Jesus fucking Christ. Do you think they should do the same thing with the ACLU, baby? Do you? Do you think they should look at the ACLU and go, ooh, these little communist fuckers, man, they like a lot of bad shit. Maybe there's going to be blowback on us. For real. But no. Magamo. Never mind. Oops, I'm not supposed to use that word. I got called out in the comments. I don't even know what that was supposed to be. Those silly MAGA people never think things through. They make snap decisions and then are surprised by the consequence. Hear me out, bitch. I don't care if you get mad at me if I'm right. You know, I've had this argument in my life before. True story, where I'll be arguing with something and somebody will go, nobody agrees with you. Like, I don't fucking care. I'm not trying to be popular. I want to be right. Maybe you should stop worrying so much about what other people fucking think about you and do what's right, you silly. I'm going to use a T word again. Metal Minister, thank you. Gee, it's almost like they don't care about what they like. To the left, the end always justifies the means. True. They do not like, look, the biggest obstacle right now to leftist agenda is our Supreme Court. It's just true. It's why they want to destroy it. It's why they want to add more justices. It's why they want to impeach Thomas and Alito and Gorsuch. They're iffy on whether they want to do that on Kavanaugh because he tends to side with them more than I like. But they want to destroy the court because it is the last bulwark against this bullshit we're seeing. And we'll get to more of that when we get to the Biden case. All right. Which brings me to my third point about this decision. Scotus has just made discrimination illegal. Legal. Huh. you're right adjacent where when we're needed for the oppression Olympics. Oh yeah, cryptic. Sometimes they'll be like, "Oh, you guys are mean to the Asians," but they make that real quick, and they'll be like, "Uh, you guys, the model minority, you shouldn't talk about those people." That's what they call you, the model minority. All right, where are we? God, did we ever think we would see separate but equal again? This isn't separate but equal. This is go find somebody else to make that shit. There's plenty of people. There are plenty of web designers. I wonder what happens if you type into Google web designer. There's got to be 1,000 sponsor hits. But it looks like we will. Neil Gorsuch, who penned the majority opinion, wrote, First Amendment protections belong to all, not just to speakers whose motives the government finds worthy. Yeah. Okie dokie. But does he realize that the minute you allow one person to violate the public accommodations law, others will also violate it under this decision? No, they won't. Because you fucking people don't understand what was done here. Just because you're a fucking idiot doesn't mean that the decision is bad. Just means you're a fucking idiot. Which I'm pretty sure just by this little bit that I've read, you've heard throughout your life. Maybe, and I'm just throwing this out there, internalize that a little bit. Maybe go stare in the mirror for just a little bit. And I know you're kind of ugly. Maybe squint your eyes a little bit, right? Go stare in the mirror and just think about who you are, because you are really fucking dumb. You being wrong doesn't mean that this is. You not liking it doesn't make this wrong. You have no arguments for why it's wrong. It's discrimination. Okay, how? How? Well, because there was a public accommodation law. Yes, a public accommodation law that tramples on people's rights. That's what it did. The real problem here is that the public accommodation law was wrong. Not that shooting it down was. And they do this shit like, oh, but that was what the law was. Yeah, bad laws are passed all the fucking time. They get shot down all the fucking time. We never talk about that in these discussions, though. Oh, well, we do, but these people don't. They never talk about, like flag burning laws. Flag burning laws were declared illegal, but they were laws. Before Roe? Well, why was Roe passed? Because there was a law against abortion. Oh, but that was a bad law. Shut the fuck up. You guys just don't like it when you don't get your way. And that's it. You don't care about what is actually right or wrong. And in this case, look, it is a very specific decision. It doesn't allow you, like, let's say you are the manager at a Burger King, right? You're a manager at a Burger King and your name is Bill de Blasio. And you see a guy come in, his nose is a little big, he's got curly hair, he's wearing a weird little cap on the top of his head. You can't go, hey, we don't serve here. That's not what this law is. Black Dynamite, thanks so much. Where the hoes at? I don't know. They're probably still sleeping, man. They done uncrusted and went to sleep. So yeah, that's not what this is. And it's good. The only ones that I've seen out there suggesting that you can use this law to just flat discriminate against people, lefties. Nobody else is saying that. It's not even in the fucking decision. The only people saying it are lefties. Isn't it weird that that's where they immediately go to? They immediately go to, oh, this could be used for authoritarianism. Yeah. No shit. Cryptic, thank you. If I squint my eyes, I won't be able to see. YouTube, he's an Asian. He can make that joke. Cryptic, I fucking love you, dude. All right. So that's our karma's coming for them. Next up, we're going to talk about how I'm right, because I like talking about that subject. Me being right is one of my favorite subjects in the world. Definitely in my top 10. Certainly in my top 10. And in this case, Frosted sent me an article letting me know that I was wrong, which, by the way, I'm not. but letting me know that this person thinks I'm wrong. This is from James Finn, another Medium writer. This fucking Medium writer. Do you guys remember when there was good shit on Medium? Back when it was more like Substack? Metal Minister, thank you so much. Methinks they doth protest too much. Yeah, oh yeah, oh yeah. That's where they always go, man, is how can we hold people down? If you misgender trans people in Michigan, you go to prison. Not. How the right creates panic out of thin air on purpose. I'm not going to read any of this shit to you guys. I'll throw it into chat so you guys can read it yourself. I'm more interested in his defense. And you might think, well, you need to read his article to... No. He actually gives us a video. See? Now, this is on the archive page because I refuse to sign into Medium. But notice right there, there's a video. It's right here. And I already have it queued up to the timestamp that I want. Now, I've been very clear on the Michigan law. There are people who are being absolutely hyperbolic on it. Simple misgendering is not going to get you thrown in jail with a $10,000 fine. But this guy tells us, hey, look, you don't believe me? Here's an actual lawyer. He says, I watch Steve's YouTube channel sometimes because he's a straight shooter with a sharp legal mind and because he is as apolitical as humanly possible in these divided times. All right, I'm going to be honest with you. I've only seen this video and I don't believe a word of that sentence. Not a fucking word of that sentence. We'll pay attention to that straight shooter part. Straight shooter. All right, should we blow this up and watch him in full screen? Sure, why not? Let me make sure. Yeah, volume's all the way up. Okay. Oh, whoops. I forgot to share this tab. Hang on, guys. Shit, I hate when I do that. You guys probably couldn't even hear that. There we go. All right, so this is Steve. My bad, guys. Meet Steve. Meet Steve. He's a straight shooter. All right, straight shooter here. He's gonna give us the lowdown on
a hate crime. Okay. Oh. Now some people are gonna say, what does intimidation mean?
We went over intimidation when I read the fucking law on here. Now, in fairness, I did not read the whole law. I read the parts that I thought were pertinent to the discussion. I gave you guys the link. You guys can look it up. I forget the law number. Just look up Michigan hate crime law. You'll find it. But anyway.
Maybe if somebody is accused of willfully and intentionally misusing pronouns, they could be charged with this law because they'd be intimidating them.
All right. Hang on. Listen to what he says here. Listen, pay attention. This is our straight shooter.
It could possibly be a hate crime. Okay. Now, some people are going to say, what does intimidation mean? Maybe if somebody is accused of willfully and intentionally misusing pronouns.
Willfully and intentionally misusing pronouns. Keep that in mind, okay? Willfully and intentionally.
They could be charged with this law because they'd be intimidating them by willfully and intentionally misusing their pronouns.
He said it again, willfully and intentionally. Keep that in mind.
Well, the statute actually defines intimidate also. Isn't that helpful?
It's really not, because it's got some vague-ass wording in it that we went over on this very show a couple of days ago.
Intimidate means a willful course of conduct involved.
A willful course of conduct. Huh. That sounds kind of like what he said a moment ago, didn't it? Willful and intentional. Willful course of conduct. Willful and intentional. Huh. All right.
Involving repeated or continuing harassment of another individual that would cause a reasonable individual to feel terrorized, frightened, or threatened.
All right, we're going to talk about that too. How many times, just in the last couple of months, have we read stories about how transgender people are fearful of their lives because of laws getting passed that makes it so you can't talk to kindergartners about doinking? Yeah. I don't know why I came out with doinking. I haven't used that word that's not even a word I use very often. That means humping, guys. But how many times have we seen, oh my God, this This makes me afraid for everything. I'm so afraid all the time. How many times it's just the simplest thing? Misgendering makes me feel threatened. That's not something made up. We watched I watched a Riley Dennis. I made a video response to Riley Dennis telling us that misgendering was violence. Purposefully misgendering, willful and intentional, misgendering was violence. And it goes to that reasonable people standard. Okay, define reasonable people. Define them. Tell me who's reasonable. Because I don't find a lot of what's going on these days to be reasonable. I don't find somebody who gets called she instead of he when they were born with a vagina and them saying that they're scared. I don't find that reasonable. However, they're thrown on the news all the time with people going, look how scared they are. They're so afraid for them. They're being attacked everywhere. All right. Anyway, back to dummy here. I'm sorry, to our straight shooter.
So if you think that somebody accidentally...
Whoa. Wait. Say that again.
Or threatened. So if you think that somebody accidentally misusing someone's pronoun is the equivalent of a...
How do you willfully and intentionally do something accidentally? Can somebody explain? This is our straight shooter. This is why I highlighted this part of the video. He repeated that willfully and intentionally twice. He said it twice. And then he reads the definition down there for intimidate. And notice that after he reads it, because you can actually see it click in his brain when he says it, because he then basically reads willful and intentional, that he's got to change it. It's no longer willful and intentional. It's accidentally. If you accidentally do it willfully and intentionally, you fucking piece of shit. You lying bitch.
Willful course of conduct involving repeated or continuing harassment of another individual that would cause a reasonable individual to feel terrorized, frightened, or threatened. That's not quite what that says, but
it's not quite what you said. You absolutely changed your fucking definition, your terms mid fucking sentence. You changed it. You here, I'll show you again. It's at the 425 mark. Oh, whoops. I don't know why that made that smaller. Here we go.
A hate crime. Okay.
Listen.
Now, some people are going to say, what does intimidation mean? Maybe if somebody is accused of willfully and intentionally misusing pronouns, they could be charged with this law because they'd be intimidating them by willfully and intentionally misusing their pronouns. Well,
you heard what he said there twice. They'd be willfully and intentionally doing it. Okay. And then he starts reading the definition.
Statute actually defines intimidate also. Isn't that
yes,
helpful?
Yes, it is.
Intimidate means a willful course of conduct.
You mean willful and intentional. Go ahead.
Involving repeated or continuing harassment of another.
So repeatedly using their wrong pronouns on purpose. Okay.
Other individual that would cause a reasonable individual to feel terrorized, frightened, or threatened.
Wait for it.
So if you think that somebody accidentally...
Fuck off. You are a liar. See, and this is why I said, he's... What is it he says here? I watch Steve's YouTube channel sometimes because he's a straight shooter with a sharp legal mind and because he's as apolitical as humanly possible in these divided times. You're both fucking liars. You're both fucking liars. And if anybody wants to get to that video, here's the original story link, which has the video you can click on right there. Yeah, Steve, you're a lying piece of shit, man. And I don't like you. So is whoever wrote that article. It wasn't Steve. I'm guessing it's one of Steve's friends. Because goddamn. Oh, fucking stupid shit. How do you do that close together? He specifically says willful intentional twice. And then he reads the definition, which says willful course of conduct. And then suddenly, so if you think accidentally misgendering somebody is that, nobody thinks that. Nobody thinks it. But it is my right to intentionally misgender. I can intentionally call you anything I fucking want. Anything. That's what free speech is, fucker. This is a violation of free speech, shithead. If I willfully call somebody she and it's a he by their definition, if I'm talking about what's the big four-headed person? Used to be Ellen Page, right? Is that her name? If I refer to Elias or Eli or whatever the hell they call themselves now as she over and over and over again, it's my God-given right to do so. Now, I could be kicked off a social media site for that. Sure. But the government can't fucking punish me for it. Nope. Sorry. Elliot, that's what I should remember that because she does look a little like E.T. now. She's got E.T.'s titties. All right, let's move along. Now, this one's a big one. This one, there is a lot to it. I'm going to throw a link into your chat. So what I was talking about earlier is a 155-page ruling from a judge. It's in a case regarding the suppression of speech, both in the election and in the COVID stuff. Now, I got to be very careful because the COVID stuff I can't really talk about. They said we can talk about the election now, but I'm still going to be very careful. You guys know what I mean when I say the election stuff, the COVID stuff. One of them that I can actually talk about is the lab leak that gets brought up, but it's several people who have had their social media accounts, I don't want to say banned by the government, but the government got involved and they ended up losing their social media accounts, or their social media accounts got severely limited. One of the people is Gateway Pundit. I know that one. I don't remember all the people that are involved in it. And they're asking for an injunction. That's what this here specifically is. This is the state of Missouri et al. It's Missouri and Louisiana and several other people. Jack is here, but it needs to be said, you have so much hate in your heart. Thank you, Donald Kent, for that feminist $12. Is Jack here? He's got a link. State of Missouri et al. Versus Joseph R. Biden Jr. et al. Now, the plaintiffs in this, like I said, they're numerous. There's two states. It's Missouri and Louisiana, and then several people. Can I get to who all the people are real fast? Yeah, it's right here. Plaintiffs consist of the state of Missouri, state of Louisiana, Dr. Aaron Cardy, I don't know how to say that, Dr. Martin Kuldorf, Jim Hoft, Dr. Jana, fuck me, and Jill Hines. And then these are all the defendants right there. There's a ton of them. They're all people that work for our government. And there's a couple of things being decided in this case. One, did the government, or is there a reasonable expectation that the plaintiffs can win? Yes. That's what the judge found over and over again. Yes. And then the other one is, do they have standing? Yes. And then finally, the question that they just flat out lose on is, can this be made a class action lawsuit? That was decided no. So it's going to be all of these people suing all of those other people individually in the same court, basically. But yeah, this goes to people getting in trouble on social media, and the government argues, hey, we didn't tell anybody to take stuff down. No. We just, we might have pointed some stuff out to them. The kind of shit we heard with the Twitter files. Like, hey, look, we didn't actually tell them to take that down. Yeah, sure you didn't. And this judge, I like this judge. Now, by the way, that judge was appointed by Donald Trump. He has had a couple of other cases that people really hate him for. He's the one that put an injunction on making kids wear masks and at little kids and get COVID shots. The mandates for was it for Head Start? I think he told Biden, "Yeah, you don't have the power to do that." Anyway, in this case, basically, he says, you don't have to actually go out there and tell them, "Hey, take this down." But keep in mind, we'll get to that. But the government doesn't actually have to tell them, "Hey, take this down." It can be that you guys have threatened them otherwise. And one thing that comes up is Section 230. Section 230 is the thing that basically allows social media companies to do whatever the hell they want, even if it violates the Constitution. That is written into your law, guys. It lets them ban people for whatever reason. But it's pointed out in here that several times these people involved here have made comments that, hey, if you guys don't clean up your act, they don't give a specific, they're not like, "Hey, you better ban Gateway Pundit." But if you guys don't clean up this a little bit, we might have to take a look at Section 230. And this judge, he goes, that's a threat, even if there's nothing to it. And he even points this out. You guys had both houses of Congress and the presidency at the time. So that's a reasonable threat that if you don't give in to if they don't give in to what you want, then they may suffer consequences and that it would negatively impact their businesses. So, yeah. Oh, man. It's such a good decision. It's very long. Oh, thank you, Black Hebrew Israelite. The funniest moment was watching liberals, dumb people like Joy Reid admit that she was only at Harvard due to affirmative action. While Justice Thomas complained due to AC, he was looked down as inferior. They believed he didn't earn the way. Yeah, I saw the Joy Reid clip where she's whining. She says that she only got into college because of that, and then she turns around and is like, "That's not the only reason I got in." But you did. You said it. You literally said it out loud. Anyhow, so yeah, basically the judge sides with the plaintiffs in this almost all the way. And I want to show you a big reason why. Now, this is from much later. We're down to page 97. This is coming from the White House. I forget the guy. There's a specific guy. What the hell is his name? Flattery. That's his name. These are some of the things that he wrote to different people. And there's also a couple of others thrown in, but it's mostly this guy. At one point, he said, "Cannot stress the degree to which this needs to be resolved immediately. Please remove this account immediately." Now, here's the thing. The government is not allowed to use another entity to do something they themselves can't do, which comes in later too. But this is a big part of it because they don't have the authority to shut people up. But they're asking them, they're not even asking them. I mean, please remove this. They did say please, right? But cannot stress the degree to which this needs to be resolved immediately. Please remove this account immediately. Immediately twice. Because he just kind of meant it. What he really meant here is do whatever you guys want. That's what he meant. Accused Facebook of causing political violence by failing to censor false COVID-19 claims. This is one, "You're hiding the ball." I don't know what that one's exactly in reference to. "Internally, we've been considering our options on what to do about it. I care mostly about what actions and changes you are making to ensure you're not making our country's vaccine hesitancy problem worse." Do any of these things sound like minor suggestions? Like, you guys should paint the walls a little bit brighter. It would look nicer in here. That's a fucking suggestion. You better get this done. I mean, whenever you want, of course. Yeah, these fucking people. This is exactly why I want to know what reduction actually looks like. If reduction means pumping out our most vaccine hesitant audience with Tucker Carlson saying it does not work, then I'm not seeing its reduction. None of your business, bitch. Literally none of your business. But that's what our government was working on. This is what our government was working on. Question how the Tucker Carlson video has been demoted since there were 40,000 shares on it. 40,000 shares for a Tucker Carlson video, depending on which one, it's not really that high. Wanting to know why Alex Berenson had not been kicked off Twitter. Hey, why haven't you kicked this guy off? Does that sound like a suggestion? Especially from the people who literally hold your livelihood in their hands. Because they could gut 230. They could have done it at the time. Just gut it. Because Berenson was the epicenter of the disinformation that radiated outward to the persuadable public. Quote, we want to make sure YouTube has a handle on vaccine hesitancy and is working towards making the problem better. Noted that vaccine hesitancy was a concern, that this is shared by the highest, and I mean highest, levels of the White House. Threatening him with the president. The president, hey, the president wants to know what you're doing to fix this shit. Now, this shit continues. The one that's more, see how many, it gets all the way down to V. They're labeled by numbers instead of, or by letters instead of numbers. And they get all the way down to V. What is that, 24? 24 examples of the White House doing that shit. They also, because the FBI's, look, the Surgeon General, they hit Fauci's organization here in a second. The CDC, they're not the one. I want the FBI. Here's Fauci. And this is specifically about, remember when Fauci and that guy had their email exchange? Hey, we gotta kill this quickly. It's the one that Rand Paul asked him about. He's like, I don't know what you're talking about. Why you read my emails? And the press all went, why is he so mean to Fauci? Fauci owned him again. FBI defendants. Plaintiffs allege that the FBI also suppressed free speech on social media platforms, with the FBI and the FBI's FITF playing a key role in the censorship efforts. I don't want, where's this one? Okay. According to plaintiffs' allegations detailed above, the FBI had a 50% success rate regarding social media suppression of alleged misinformation. You know what success rate they should have had? None. Zero. Not a fucking bit. It's none of their fucking business. But yeah, 50% success rate. Now, there's a ton of allegations in this thing, right? There are a ton of allegations. You know how many of them that they deny? Of these specific allegations? None. Not a one. The only thing they deny is the meaning of it. The defendants in this case, their denials all basically come down to what I said earlier. Oh, we didn't actually tell them they had to do that. That's not a defense. Everything that they say, like this 50% success rate, FBI's like, yeah, it sounds right to us. They didn't argue any of this shit. Now, the really dirty one is this one. CISA, we talked about them the other day. Plaintiffs allege that CISA defendants served as a nerve center for federal censorship efforts by meeting routinely with social media platforms to increase censorship of speech disfavored by federal officials and by acting as a switchboard to route disinformation concerns to social media platforms. All right. This gets complicated because there's a whole lot of acronyms thrown in here. In response to CISA defendant maintained the CISA sorry, my eyes just went crossed on me, has a mandate to coordinate with federal and non-federal entities to carry out cybersecurity and critical infrastructure activities. CISA previously designated election infrastructure as a critical infrastructure subsector. CISA also collaborates with state and local election officials as part of its duties. CISA coordinates with the EISGCC, which is comprised of state, local, and federal government departments and agencies. The EISSC is comprised of owners or operators with significant business or operations in the U.S., election infrastructure systems, or services. After the 2020 election, the EISCC and the EISGCC launched a joint managing mis/disinformation group to coordinate election infrastructure security efforts. The CISA defendants argue CISA support the joint managing mis/disinformation group, but does not coordinate with the EIP or CIS. Despite DHS providing financial assistance to CIS through a series of cooperative agreements managed by CISA, the CISA defendants assert that the work scope funded by DHS has not involved the CIS performance disinformation-related tasks. All right. We just read a whole lot of shit. Let me put this into perspective. CIS is one of those, CIS, the one we've talked about them before. This is a group that CISA made using college interns who were working for the government but not working for the government because they were just interns at this new thing called CIS. And CIS was working with your Facebook and Twitter and all your social media accounts to get them to shut people up. And CISA, who is run by the government, DHS paid for the CIS thing, the CIS program. These college interns, it paid for them. And these guys who have control over that are like, yeah, wasn't me. That's basically that. Yeah, it wasn't me. Now it goes on, and I threw you guys a link. This is on page 209. It gets really in the weeds reading it all. But it goes on for 4 or 5 pages where they're discussing that, yeah, these guys worked together. They were one and the same, basically. And it's another one of these places where the judge goes, the government cannot use an outside entity to do something that they cannot do. Let's put that into perspective. Let's say the police want to know what's in your house, but you aren't home and your door's locked. They're not allowed to break in. What they can't do is go and ask a junkie on the street, hey, I'll give you $20 if you break into that house. You go break that door open for me and I'll give you $20. Can't do it. You're not allowed to use another entity, whether it's a citizen or a group or whatever, to conduct illegal activities. And over again in this decision, that's what you see the federal government doing. We all knew it. We all fucking knew this is what they were doing. Now, my favorite part of the article is where they say this case should be thrown out because that stuff's not happening anymore. It's not happening anymore. The election interference stuff is over and the COVID stuff's over. It's not happening anymore, so you don't have to worry about it. And the judge went, There's still a reasonable expectation that it could happen again. And the government went, but if you make it so we're not allowed to do this, we might not be allowed to do it anymore. And the judge's like, it's not my problem. But yeah, that's their argument. They actually made this argument that it should be thrown out because, hey, look, yeah, we did it. But look, it wasn't a big deal because we didn't really do it. But if we did it, it's over. So it's not a big deal. We just trampled a whole bunch of citizens' rights. But since it's not happening anymore, do any of you believe that shit's not happening anymore? Any of you guys believe that the government has stopped this shit? I sure as fuck don't. Twitter might be a little bit more open, but Facebook sure as fuck ain't. YouTube sure as shit ain't. I have to be careful what I say about COVID on this channel. Doesn't matter how true it is, because if it goes against the CDC, I can get kicked off the platform. Doesn't matter how wrong the CDC is. And the CDC has been wrong over and over again. And YouTube, I'm not saying they're wrong right now. The science changes. That's what they say. They're just reacting to the science. So I mean, they've literally been wrong. Fauci literally lied. He came out. He either lied when he said we don't need masks, or he lied when he said he lied about saying we don't need masks. He had to have lied in one of those cases. Period. End of story. A deliberate fucking lie. But if I point out that he did that, I can get in trouble. Because, hey, the CDC says XYZ. The shit's still happening. And the judge didn't even say that. He didn't even go, oh, yeah, it's still happening. No, the judge said, because of what we saw here, we know it can happen in the future. He said, I'm quoting the judge here, or paraphrasing the judge here, YouTube. Don't get your panties in a wad. He said the COVID thing might be over, but that doesn't mean there won't be another pandemic and you guys won't act the same way. And he's not wrong. He's not wrong. It's exactly what we've seen from them over and over. Why would you believe a government that would even do this would stop doing it? I desperately need an answer to that fucking question. All right. That wraps up the legal portion of the show. Got us to an hour and 6 minutes. I don't know how long we're going to go, guys. We're definitely not doing a game stream. I was supposed to do another 7 Days to Die stream, but I am fucking tired. I went to sleep last night, probably around 7. And I woke up at midnight 30 and I was not happy about it. I've not been back to sleep since. All right. I do want to touch on a couple of things. Miss Cori Bush. Oh, God, I hate this retard. I don't know how this woman got elected to Congress. Look, I know there's certain places in Congress where they say you could, what was it Pelosi said? A glass of water could have got elected there. But even with that, Cori Bush, this woman's a tard, man. The Declaration of Independence was written by enslavers and didn't recognize black people as human. It actually didn't call you subhuman, honestly. Today's a great day to demand reparations. All right. Fuck, God damn it. Once again, I know that a lot of you have trouble with this. On the left, it just goes in one side and falls right the fuck out the other. The 3/5 compromise wasn't to say black people aren't people. It was to limit the power of the states that enslaved you, you stupid shit. Mystic Forest, thank you so much for the gifted sub. Going out to Dangerous Spaces. I appreciate it, my friend. Thank you. Thank you. The 3/5 compromise wasn't calling black people not people. What it was saying is that if we let plantation owners get representation based on how many slaves they have, people who aren't going to be represented by this, then they're going to have a power that they don't rightly deserve. And they will overpower the non-slave states, you fucking retard. It was specifically to limit the power of the slave states. Why is it so fucking hard for you people to understand? They didn't believe black people as human. Fuck off. Anyhow, reparations are stupid. Miss Bush, you were never a slave. Fuck off. You don't deserve shit for things your ancestors did. And that's assuming that your ancestors were slaves. I don't know if they were from her or not. Do you guys know? How many black people actually know how many, or if they have relatives who were slaves? I have no idea. They kind of want to just count all black people. Anyhow, this fucking idiot. God, she's so dumb. She's so dumb. And she's like the add-on to the squad. Because she's elected in 2020, where they all got in 2018. And she's like their retarded little cousin that they let play along. And that is saying something. That is really saying something for them. So, yeah. is what it is, I guess. I'll have to read that later. Where are we? Oh, got hit with a copyright claim on a really, really old video on my gaming channel. Just a claim. There's apparently this new. If you do anything game related, be careful. There's this new company that's popped up right here just last month, at the end of last month, that is hitting streamers with copyright claims, but not strikes, just claims. Reach out to the video game manufacturer or maker if that happens to you. Just a heads up. All right, we talked about this thing yesterday, and we had a discussion on whether or not this was a woman. And it turns out, I mean, they call themselves that. U.S. Army Major Rachel Jones found solace after coming out as a transgender female. Her journey from battling depression and suicidal thoughts to embracing authenticity inspired us all. All right. I'm going to try not to be mean here. I'm going to do my best. But even with dysphoria, trans is delusional. It's what it is. It is not authentic. It's literally the opposite of authentic. Authentic would be, hey, I have a penis. I'm a man. That's authentic. I'm not saying it makes him a bad person. I don't know shit about Rachel other than that stupid ass. Apparently they claim to be a lesbian too, which an authentic lesbian with a penis. Sure, why not? Why not? We're just ruining the English language. The English language is hard enough for people to pick up and learn because we do have so many oddities with our language. And now what we're doing is we're just taking words and throwing them out. Whereas, fuck it. You know what? Literally now means figuratively, and authentic now means made up. That's my authentic. No, it's not. It's not. I'm not being mean there. If it makes you feel better, I don't give a shit as long as you're not fucking with people or trying to push the idea that this is what people should be doing with their lives, because it's not. It's weird how most of these male to female trans or lesbians, and it's almost like they just like to dress up in women's clothes. I'm annoyed with this shit. Authentic. That's not what authentic means. Yeah, when I read that yesterday, because somebody hit us up to answer, because we were talking about it, like we don't know if that's a woman or a man, and they said, well, here's the answer, and I read it and I gasped a little bit. I'm like, really? Really? Authentic, huh? Your authentic self. I feel like your authentic self is a man. I was called transphobic for that. It's not transphobic to point out that trans people are not the gender that they claim to be. They're not the sex they claim to be. They're not the sex that they get changed on their driver's license. It's not transphobic. It's reality. And it's not like I was running around looking for people to go, ha, you're one of those dudes in a dress. I didn't do that. This was a story that came up and it was brought to my attention. And I just pointed out that that's not what authenticity means. It's just not. Ministry of Wrongthink, thank you. Wouldn't calling it bonus hole imply it's not the primary hole? Yes, that was my argument the other night. If anything, the bonus hole, what they're calling the bonus hole or wanted to call the bonus hole, is the primary hole. Didn't Village People sing about a transsexual admiral? I have no idea. What the hell are you listening to? Is that in the song In the Navy? Because I have no idea. I know the In the Navy. That's all I know. I was young when that shit came out. And it never got the rebirth that YMCA did. Word phobia has been strapped to a punching bag, buried in the desert alive, and nuked from orbit. Yeah. Oh, man. Phobia, they've ruined. Absolutely ruined. Because it used to mean a fear, and now it's a fear or a strong dislike. It's okay, fine. I just strongly dislike cauliflower. I must be cauliflower phobic. I don't know what it would be with Brussels sprouts because I hate the fuck out of those things. If Brussels sprouts were living beings, I would enjoy killing them. That's how much I fucking hate them. So what is an extreme hate of Brussels sprouts called? There's got to be a phobia for it now that extreme dislike is phobia. No, look, that's what it says in the book now. So that's what it means. Shut up. You're stupid. Shut up. Fucking hate stupid shit. Why are we embracing stupid? Why are we embracing it? Even if, okay, I'm going to throw this because notice they had the suicidal thoughts in that post for Rachel. They got over their depression and their suicidal thoughts by putting on a dress. All right, good for them. Good for them. Maybe they are genuinely dysphoric. Still doesn't make it authentic. It doesn't. It's literally embracing a delusion. We didn't used to do that. We didn't used to go, oh yeah, whatever you think you are, that's what you are. Because that doesn't make any goddamn sense. It just doesn't. Because reality is a thing. Although reality is no longer a thing, I guess, because we've decided it's not. Because you know why we've decided it's not, honestly? Because it's inconvenient. We are such a spoiled fucking society. We are so spoiled that while there's people around the world starving or in war or with real problems, we're over here arguing about whether a dude in a dress is a woman. That's how spoiled we are. And, we should be thankful for that. We should. But we should also keep in mind how we get back to that other place. How we get back to a starving or at war or things that are actually horrible, that real strife, If you want to throw on a dress, call yourself Sally, fine, Sally. Just don't expect me to play along. And don't tell me that I have to, or it's a hate crime. If it's intentionally unintentional and accident. What was it? Willful and intentional, yet somehow accidentally. Yeah. My governor's a piece of shit. My governor is one of the worst examples of this. But the problem, you know what the problem is? Let's talk about the problem. Problem's young people. What state was it that just changed it so that in local elections, 16-year-olds can vote? Didn't I see that story? It's not in the federal elections, but it's in the in local elections. Good job. 16-year-olds. 16-year-olds can barely fucking drive. Barely get behind the wheel of a car by themselves. In some states, they can't even do it by themselves still. And you're like, no, you're going to help decide the fate of our fair city. Do you also hate broccoli? No, I like broccoli, depending on how it's cooked. Typically covered in cheese. Cheese and broccoli just go very well together. We're embracing young people as though they are smart. They're not. They're dumb. And they're ignorant. They just don't have the necessary. All they have is the bullshit that's being thrown at them, the hyperbole that's being thrown at them. Dragon Mage, thank you so much. Most of these men are transvestites, not transgender. A lot of them, I think you're right. Absolutely. They just like to dress as women. But you don't get any attention for that. And we're not even supposed to say transvestite anymore. Although I've never heard it as a slur, that's a slur. I don't think so. I feel like you guys just made that up, so we're not allowed to say it, to point out that guy in a dress over there who's banging women is actually just a Transvestite. He likes the way a thong feels. We got to, we talked about this with the justice moms. What are they? Moms for Justice yesterday. The youth is where they've targeted, and they're easy to scare. Young people are very easy to scare because they don't have any life experience to know that you're full of shit. They don't have any life experience. They go, "Oh, stop it. You're being hyperbolic. You're saying Trump is going to never leave office. They're going to have to drag him out kicking and screaming." There's a guy who does man on the street videos. I wish I could remember which one it is. But recently he went out and he was talking to people, and they all were young people. And he's like, do you like Donald Trump? And everyone, nah, bro. I was like, well, why? Cause he's racist. Okay, what has he done that's racist? I wish, asshole the cricket, that would have been the perfect time for you to speak up. That would have been the perfect time. Nothing. They have nothing. Because all they know is what they're told. They don't actually pay any attention. They don't pay attention to things like Kayleigh McEnany getting up there and a reporter going, is he willing to denounce white supremacy now? And he's like, I just read you 13 fucking times that he's done it. Yeah, but will he do it now? And then they use that because she wouldn't just say yes. She argued a little bit. See, that shows you white supremacy. 13 fucking examples. But that's not how it gets reported. Pat had we talked about Pat yesterday. Good friend of the show, your boy Pat. He had another post I wanted to talk about. I have to go to my replies because I don't think I retweeted this one. Yeah, here it is. Yeah, we're going to bitch about the press again, guys, because that's what I do. He asks, in your opinion, what do you think has been the biggest woke disaster of 2023 so far? My answer is Bud Light making Mulvaney their poster child. I guess it depends on what you mean by disaster. And this is what I said to him in the thing. I'm not speaking out of turn or anything here. And guys, follow Pat if you're not. If you're talking about what has had the biggest effect on a company, yeah, probably Mulvaney. Absolutely Mulvaney. What's had the biggest change in society? What woke disaster has there been that has changed society at all? None. Because even in the Mulvaney situation, even in that situation, like, they're just overreacting to this. It was no big deal. The fucking story we read about these people chanting, "We're coming for your kids." NBC, how did they report that? It was one person. And by the way, they do it all the time. It's not a big deal. It's taken out of context. They fucking just lied. They just lied about it. How did they cover guys driving down parade routes with their dicks hanging out, stopping in front of kids? Asshole the cricket, that'd have been another time for you to chime in. He's an asshole. There's no real change because the press is in on this. They're pushing this shit. The people who write the stories and go in front of the camera, they're all in on this shit. One company, yes, Bud Light took a big ass hit from this. Deservedly so. Did it change anything? Does this mean we're going to stop the men can be women train? No. It's all the same. It's going to keep going. The only thing that's going to change it is louder voices. Louder voices is all that we can do. And unfortunately, in so many regards, louder voices just won't do because they get marginalized. And I hate using that word, but they really do. How many people on Rumble right now who have big channels over there for the Rumble size had bigger channels on YouTube until they got kicked off this platform for saying something correct? We're not talking about a conspiracy theory that can't be proven, but real things like men can't be women. COVID likely came from a lab. How many people have been forced to other platforms where they are literally marginalized? They're pushed to the margins. They're not on the big platforms anymore. They're not allowed. We just read about the fucking White House begging, hey, kick these people off. When are you going to kick them off? But that's what happens. They keep, the people in charge of this shit keep pushing that narrative. And until something major happens, and I don't know what it can be, I really don't. How do you change anything when a boy in a skirt rapes a girl in the ass in the bathroom at school? And when his father gets up to question the school board who just took this boy, how was that reported? That was reported that this right-wing nut job crashes this event and caused the whole school board to shut down because he's an angry right-wing freak. How many of them covered the actual aftermath of that? How many of them covered, oh yeah, remember that guy we were tearing down, talking about how he was a horrible parent who just came in to disrupt this because he's a right-wing Trump supporter? Yeah, his daughter had been raped in the ass in that school, and he wanted to know why. How many of them did it? Do you remember the little girl who they had the abortion? What, they moved her? She was from Ohio and had to go to another state for it. And there were many of us who questioned it because when they first came out with the story, it was just a little too perfect. And then it comes out, yeah, it actually happened. How many of the people who reported on that story also pointed out that the guy who raped her was an illegal living with her mom, and that mom probably knew about it and did nothing? Did nothing. And that this guy didn't even get arrested for quite a while afterwards. Story. Illegal rapes little girl. Nope, that's not how they responded. They just responded, all of these conservatives, they just don't care about 10-year-old rape victims. Yeah? Did you call for that guy to be arrested? I don't remember any of those stories. I've read quite a few. They control the narrative. And as long as they do, nothing's going to change. How do you change the narrative? That's a big one. Migrating to other sites, that does help. But I don't think it's going to have the effect that some people are hoping. I think one of the biggest things that's going to help is Elon Musk buying Twitter. Because while there's still plenty of censorship over there, it's not as bad as it used to be. I can point out that Rachel, what was her name? Rachel, whatever the fuck, is not actually being authentic. That shit would have got me kicked off not that long ago. Tall person, thanks so much. Good morning, all. Going to have to watch later. Just wanted to say good morning and wish you all a happy National Apple Turnover Day. Ooh, that sounds good. I haven't had an apple turnover in a long time. Thank you for the donation, my friend. Yeah, I mean, unfortunately, and I'm not trying to be pessimistic here, guys. I'm genuinely searching for answers. I really am. But then I see things like, and I don't know how serious he was being. It just bothers me that it happened in general. Look, you can like whoever you want, and I'm all for free speech. But yesterday, Elon Musk retweets fucking Brian Krasenstein. So, look, I get that this is in jest, but this man's a fucking con artist. Says, stop being mean to me. Your tweets hurt my feelings. Thank you. Happy 4th of July, regardless of whether you make me cry every morning. And Elon with a little laughing cry emoji. Happy 4th of July to you and your brother, Ed Krasenstein. I appreciate that you try to connect people of different viewpoints and engage in rational dialogue. That you engage in rational dialogue. This is the guy who a couple of days ago was calling libs of TikTok a horrible person for showing naked people to kids that follow you. That sound like rational dialogue to you? His brother, Ed, the other one that I appreciate you guys, he's the one that, because I don't know if that was like Tasha or Desmond, is amazing, but libs of TikTok posted a picture of them where they were dancing for grown-ass men and for money. And it's, oh, libs of TikTok. The real horror here is putting that picture out to all your followers. That's their rational people. And that's Elon. Elon just blasted these two assholes out there. They're about to take off. Stratospheric. What you gonna do, right? I'm just gonna enjoy the rides. I'm just gonna enjoy the ride and yell about it when I can. Guys, that's gonna wrap up today. Hey, we made it to an hour and a half. Thank you so much for coming and hanging out. I will be back hopefully tonight. I'm hoping to sleep today so that I can get back to what for me is a more normal sleep schedule. I've not been sleeping much at all. It's like an hour or two here or there, no matter how much I'm laying down. But because of that, the timing of this has been just way off. And I apologize to those of you who look for us at, a different time, because we don't have there's no schedule, but there's a certain time frame. So if you were looking for us at that time and missed us, I'm so sorry. It's all my fault. Give me a couple of days and we'll be back on track. I haven't talked about this yet. I'm going on vacation, you guys. A real vacation, not just a day missed here or there. I'm going to visit my father-in-law again. My kitty cat will be watched by my son. And hopefully he doesn't have a wild party that blows out of control. No, he's not the wild party type. But what day is that? We are leaving, I believe, on the 15th. I think we're leaving on Saturday the 15th. I am not sure what day I will be back. I will be back about a week later. So for that week, there's plenty of old ones you can listen to. You can go watch the game channel. Jack does a lot of stuff. You can do that. Scribbles is still out there. Satsu's still out there. Tons of people that I've introduced you to. Your boy Pat, we mentioned him earlier. Modern Renaissance Man and BX Beast Boy. It's tons of content that will hold you over while I'm gone for that week. But just want to let you guys know that, I will be gone for a week here soon. Cannot wait. I'm not done yet. We've had a couple of really nice days. We've gotten really close to 90 degrees. And it's felt so nice to me. Everybody else is like, I'm melting, which is probably the normal human response. But I'm like, and I can't wait to go down to Virginia and have it that way. Oh, yeah. The original Shroom, TOS, he streams as well. Cannot wait to go down to Virginia. I mean, it's a little more humid down there. A little more humid. Well, we'll be up, more towards the Richmond area. So it's not as humid as if you're like in Virginia Beach, but I can't wait to go back to the lake. That lake that's right there is so nice. It's not cold. It's nice. And every day I go, last time we were there, I swam every day. And water is the one place I don't hurt. And my skin can still hurt and stuff, but the weightlessness of water just makes my body feel so much better. And I am looking forward to it. I am not looking forward to that drive. The first year I did this, the drive was no problem. Last year it kicked my ass. But I'm not even worried about that. It's a long fucking drive. It's a long fucking drive from Michigan to Virginia. And on a map, it really doesn't look like that until you actually pay attention to the little, how many miles, the key that they give you. Like, yeah, that's actually like 1,000 miles. I don't know how much it is exactly, but oh God, I don't like being in a car that long. I've never been one of those. Are you guys people who like going on car rides? I'm not hey, let's jump in the car and just drive for no fucking reason kind of thing. That's not me. I want to be somewhere. They say, it's the destination. Not for me, it ain't. Or sorry, it's not the destination. It's the journey. No. It's for me. It is 100% the destination because I'm going there for a purpose. If they ever gave us transporters, I would never get in a car again, unless I, had to for some reason. I would beam my ass everywhere. Be like, I'm beaming to wall. I hate driving. Driving is fine. But just being in a car for a long period, I'd rather be anywhere else. You know what I mean? I'd rather be here talking to you guys, playing a video game, watching TV, taking a nap, making whoopee, doing anything other than being in the car. It's just a waste of time. Such a waste of time. But anyway, yeah. So I will be gone, I believe, starting on the 15th, and I will be gone a week-ish. So maybe I will do a couple of shorts while I'm there, like I did the first year, I think it was. Who knows? You're still not going to see my face, but may I point into the sky and tell you why I'm wonderful. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for coming and hanging out. Thank you for the donations. You guys are so kind to me. I really do appreciate it. No game stream right now. I'm going to go find something else to do. You need good music. I have good music. I am the DJ when we get in the car. It's not a good idea for me to be the driver for very long anymore because you never know when my leg is going to go. Nah, not today, bro. So Lady Monkey does most of the driving and I DJ. We have good music, but it's still not the same as if I was, here playing something on my computer or something. Again, it's not that I hate driving. It's just I'd rather be there. 7 Days had an update, just letting you know. Again, last night. There was one night before last. Wonder what the update is now. I'll have to check it out. But I'm probably going to go play Diablo for a little bit because I'm not ready to go to sleep. I want to go to sleep. Maybe I'll hit alcohol. Nah, I ain't going to do that. Just kidding. Guys, thanks for watching. Love y'all. Take care of yourselves, and I'll see y'all next time. I almost did the herpes thing. If you guys don't know the herpes thing, you need to watch my game streams. Take care, guys. I'll see you next time. I almost did the herpes thing, is what she said to me. And then I started itching, and I had to go see my doctor.